Okay. So let's understand how this screen was made. Okay. How it was made. Can you see my screen? Everything's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you look at it, how is it structured? Okay, let's go from beginning. We know we have on we have the home, we have the home in which we define all the folders. So one of the folders we define, for now it's really for administrative, but we will change it. Okay? So you see all the definitions of the folders are here. Okay? You have tabs for management, and one of which it is it is one is SEC, one is methodology. Here we go. So we have a setup, one is setup. The last one, okay, is for setup. So to generate another folder, we have to add this registry. If I want to make another page, another folder in here, I will have to add another record there. And then one more thing, and I'll go over that in a second. But for the setup, you see it says setup here. You got it? I can call it something else, in fact, if I want. Okay? I can call it not a setup, I can call it pivot. Whatever I want, it will change the name automatically. That's one thing. The second thing is for every folder we make what an include. So if you look here, we have a valuation setup, and I always use the same name that I give here. So this is the name that really what the programming uses. This is really just for presentation. So I don't really care about this name. I can call it whatever. I can call it pivot. And then later on I will change it. Okay. If I refresh the screen now, you will see this one will have a different name. It will say pivot, although it's exactly the same. Okay. That's the beauty of it. Okay. Now, by the way, this is not a component we got from someone else. This is a component I developed, which is very powerful. But I'm going to leave it for now set up, and I'm going to remove the whole things. Set up, and I'm going to remove the whole things. The key point is this is the programming name that he's using. Okay. And I always do another, if I want to do another one, I will add an include. Now, if it is a management folder, which it is in this case, this one is only for management. Up to here, it's not management. From here on, it's for management. This one is for option traders. So depend which kind of folder I want to make. That's where I put it. If you notice. So if it is, it's for for staff people, administrations. Then I would put it here. So now this one, it's the HTML I use for that folder. So let's go and look at it. I go into templates. I go to the include. I go to simulation, include, and then I should have a one that is set up. When I double click on it, this is really the whole folder. By the way, if I shrink the script, which I'm going to go over with you, you can tell, here we go. If I can really remove everything. It would be empty. It would be empty page. I would just write here Amos. Now, when I refresh that one, you'll have nothing in there. No buttons, nothing. It will be totally clean. There's really nothing here. It's only my name, Amos. That's what I typed there. And the beauty here that I can build a whole page, which could be even a whole program like this one. This is really almost a whole program. I click here. It has its own windows. It's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. This one, it's really like could be any program I want. And that's really what I'm doing here. So let me explain what am I adding here. Okay. Okay, let's ignore the JavaScript here for a second. And let's look at the whole things. Every page, as I showed you a second ago, it's made of a div. The div has to have the same name. The ID will have the same name as we had in the home page when I built it. So here, how do I make it? I give it the same name here. One, same name here. That for convenient, in fact, same name here. And moreover, inside this HTML, I keep a div. I only put a div that has ID with the same name. The whole thing is automatic. The class has to be a tab content, and then I have a manager, and the manager is not how to manage. And see the beauty. Control V, and I'm going to remove all of those stuff just for you, and then I will add step by step. Okay, what do we really have here? We basically, I just made a table, which really have nothing in it, and I just added a button. If you're here, a TD has a button inside, and the button says get data, but really is not really that crucial. That's not important. When I click on it, it will activate a function called activate object functions pivot. I will talk about it in a second. Okay, a lot of that, Daniel, you probably know. Is that right? This is very simple, just making a table. I have one row and one column. And inside the column, I'm just putting a button. There's nothing in the button. Okay, this is the name of the button. When I click on it, it will activate that function. So let's look at that field. How is that changing? I'll refresh. Refresh. And after I refresh that, let's see what do I get here. Yeah, I get a button. Of course, I'll get an error. It won't do anything because I deleted the function, correct? So I want to activate it. So here we go. Let's put down here, Control V. Let's go step by step. Let's ignore this stuff for a second. And you can tell that I really do have this function here. Is that right? So when I activate this one, it will do whatever it's inside here. And we'll go over it in a second. It's very simple, but amazingly powerful. So far, so good. Nothing new. Okay, it's activating this function, and I will talk about this function in a second. But inside the function, I'm going to use a component here that knows how to make a pivot table. That one, I took from a library, and that's really what those JavaScripts are. We have a link. We could have put it, in the home page. But since I'm only using it here, I decided not to put it in other places. But the truth of the matter, really, if I want to use the pivot table everywhere else, I really should put it in the main. So what do we really have here? It's just a simple div. See that? There's a div. And I'm going to use the div. Okay? So far, so good. I'm going to use it. And there is a link and a JavaScript that I'm downloading. By the way, we can download this library and put it on our static, correct? And we know how to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read it from their website for now. And there is another JavaScript. And there's another CSS they are using. So all those three are just links that I'm going to use in order to utilize this object. Fair enough? So far, so good?
Yeah, fair.
Very simple. Very, very simple. In the future, of course, we will move it to be in the home page. Okay? That's really where it belongs to. Moreover, we might want to use the pivot table in our other applications, maybe in our classes. You know what I mean? Everywhere else, so we'll move it there. For now, we're just playing with it, using it in the corporate valuation. We know it's here, and we will move it. So you really, in order to utilize it, this is really just to allow you to build the objects. This is whatever objects you use, you can even have 2 or 3 pivot table in the same page. You just need for each one of them a div, and you give it a name. So far, so good? That's simple. This one is just for me so I can remember. This is really the website that I took that component from. And that's the documentation for that component. So you can read about that component, and you should. Okay, there's a lot of options, study it, and that's beautiful. Okay, and as time goes over time, we'll use it a lot of places. Since we do know how to build our business intelligence applications, this is going to be very powerful for us. Okay, now let's go into when I click the button, something happened. And I want to understand how this function, this function, this is really now the main things, how this beautiful function makes the whole things. Okay? In fact, just to clarify, this is the code to make a pivot table. And what does it take? By the way, a container, it says no web data racks, whatever the name is, who cares? And it takes a dictionary inside. You see that? You got it?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, and what this dictionary tells you? Basically, you link it to a component of a div. So whatever this one is going to do, is going to put it in the div. So that's why we have a div here. Okay? So all this component going to do, whatever this component is going to do, is going to put it inside this div. Okay? So if I write here emo, so just for simplicity, and I go here and refresh, I look at the setup, you see this is the div in which is going to put the pivot table inside. Okay? So you can see that it's really empty. It shouldn't be anything there. It's going to be created only after I will click here. It will activate the function, and the function will create the objects which will put the pivot table here. Okay, let's go over it one more time. This is the div. Okay, let me remove that one. So the whole thing is going to be here. When I click on this button, this one I'm going to activate this function. It's going to do certain things. I'll come back to that. But in the end, it's going to create a pivot table. And the pivot table is going to be put into the page in the container, and see the hash telling me with this ID name. So the ID name, I just put in here the ID name I gave to that div. So this div, I gave it with WRDR component, and that's the place is going to put the pivot table. Very simple, very, very simple. But this is one thing. Second thing is just parameter telling me that I want the pivot table to have a toolbar. I will get back to that. But this is really the important things. Okay, I'm putting a data source. I'm creating a report. Okay, I assume that there's other things you can do probably, and that's something we will need to read about it. For now, it takes a data set, data source, and the data source take a dictionary. And the dictionary, it's have a value called data, which is I need to provide it a list of dictionaries, and I will explain in a minute. So this is the really important things. What is data underscore? Everything else, by the way, okay, it's very, very simple. But this one is the most important things. And I will really encourage you to go into the documentation here and read about it. And because what I did is really, I went over there and looked at how they build it. And, going to the quick start, and they give examples. And you can see this is really the example I took from them. They have a data source, and you can get the data source in many ways. You can even get an Excel into there. Okay, but we're not going to use Excel. It's stupid. We want to get the data from the database. Okay, and then if you go down and you say if you get it this way, it will really create the data for you this way. And what I wanted to see is not just to see an Excel because it's not really interesting. I wanted to see how does it do, for example, JSON, because I can download data in JSON. JSON is really another word to taking a dictionary. Okay, that's really what JSON. So I want to give it a JSON. So when you click here, and it gives you another example. It says exactly the same. If you notice, this is exactly the same example as before. You can have a file of JSON, but we're going to use this one because this one, after all, and if you have a good eye, I just copied this one. I really did. That's it. I copied that code. And inside, if you notice, everything is exactly, let me copy. I show you that I was just stealing really kind of. I didn't steal really. That's what they want you to do. If you look at what I did here inside this part, it's exactly what they have done. You see that? It's exactly the same. Is that right? See that, Daniel?
Yes. Yes, doctor.
It's one-to-one, nothing different. The only thing is in the report, I just did it this way. I took the report because it doesn't really make a difference. I wanted to save some space. I put it this way. You will see it's exactly the same. Now the question is, it's what is this one? Got it? See that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
call it data underscore. They call it your JSON, whatever. So that's the only difference. And this one I'm generating in here on the top. I'm just generating it here. You will see. That's the beauty. And after I'm generating it, I'm putting it inside, and this is creating the pivot table. That's the beauty. But we need to understand how this works. So that's why I encourage you to go and see their examples and see how I steal stuff, still in a positive way. So what is really this JSON? How does it look like? I want to see an example. So I was looking for examples, and they do have examples, and here we go. They give you that this is the way it's supposed to be structured. You got it? So here, just for explanation, and you will see what I really did, and you will be, okay, I took this one, and I went into here just to see how it works. And wherever it says data underscore, which I'm going to replace, I just put this one, believe it or not. And now let's see what happened, because it's really ignoring all the stuff I'm doing here. You agree? Is that
Yes,
right?
doctor. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just put there really their own. It's and if you look at that, what is it really? It's nothing but a list. Okay, you can see it's a list. Is that right? It's a list in Django, in JavaScript, and a list of little dictionaries, 1 and 2. You see that? So
Yes,
let's see
doctor.
what happened now. So this is really ignoring all of this part that I'm doing, but I will get back to that. Fair enough? I'll get back to that. So
Yeah.
let's see how that's going to look like now. See the beauty. I'm going to go here, refresh. When I click the button, really nothing is going to happen. By the way, you're supposed to choose a company before clicking the button, otherwise it gives you an error. But let me use Amazon for now. That's not important, really. I just not to get an error. I click, and by the way, see what I got? I got a pivot table. What does it say? Apple, cherry. Is that right? Let me make it
Yeah.
big. You see that? And 2.5, 5.5, 25. And what this data came from? I didn't get it from the database. I got it from, this is really just this data. What happening? It's always gets stuck here because of that. I think can you hear me?
Yes, doctor.
I think the Zoom is getting my screen always gets stuck for some reason. Okay. So what you conclude is that in order to present data, and look, product and price, those are these one of them is a dimension. That all of them, the way it's treating is like everything's is dimension, which is wrong. So just to see how it works, you can play with it. You can just take another one and you say to yourself, let's make another one. Call it orange. I hope I spelled it right. I never spell anything correct. And let's put here 15. 95. Fair enough? Let's refresh it again. Okay, let me just make sure. This is really so now to get enough. Because I'm going to use it in a second. When I click on it, what do I get now? I have orange, you see? I get this spice. That's pretty cool. By the way, and the beauty here, when you click here, you can play around. You can put the product right in here and see what happens. Hey, you get it in the columns. I will play with it. Okay, but the beauty and the most important things, and that's what makes a very good programmer to someone that just don't know what to do. How do I take now this beautiful component that takes a JSON and utilize it for Academy City? And we want to get the data. Remember, we have data here for Amazon. Can I get this data? Of course I can. Now here's the beautiful part. I don't want to use, but now you go step by step and you be smart. This is the way you're supposed to work. And see, I writing data underscore. And by the way, I don't want to use this one yet. So I'm writing val data underscore equal to this. Is that right? So what I really need to do, this is going to work, of course. It will use exactly the same. So what am I supposed, if I'm getting down now, we already know the Django and we know how to get data from the server. Is that right, Daniel?
Yes, doctor.
So I want to get the data from the server and make it, see the data underscore, it's a dictionary, it's a list. You see, I start with a list. You see that? And I'm going to build it up from the data I'm downloading. And I'm going to make it looks like just like this one. And how this one is looks like, look at it. You know, look at it. And that's the way to be smart. How is really it's being structured, each part of that one? It's really nothing but a dictionary. And it has the dimension inside for every record. So what I did here is, I downloaded a data from this function, which we will see in a minute. I downloaded the data from here. I made an empty list and I filled the list. I'm running a loop over all the data inside here that coming from here. The data that come back, this is data, not data underscore. So this is the data I'm getting from the server. And I'm looping around it to generate to be a list to look like what he's expecting. Got it? So,
Yeah.
and look at that. So here I have product, price. What am I going to have here? In the loop, see what I did? I made a D underscore, which is really nothing but like similar to one of those. See that? So I'm getting a D, and the D, in my case, I will have a company ID, time ID, account ID, amount, instead of product price. So here, everyone will have those 4 titles. Got it?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. And then, since this is a dictionary, just like this dictionary, and I'm looping for each record. I'm making a little dictionary and I'm pushing it inside the list. So this list is going to have a lot of records. Okay, in another word, I'm going to get a big table from here. I'm going to loop around it. This is what this loop does. For I, inside, blah, 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 without getting into the detail of that, that's not important. I have inside here the ID of the company. I have the time, blah, blah, blah. I am filling up a dictionary. So that's going to be a dictionary with 4 data columns, correct? Here
Yeah.
I had only 2, and 2. Here we'll have 4: company, time, account, and amount. And this is really look familiar to you now, because if you go into the models, where's the models? Here we go. That's why we're getting it from the queue. Is that right? Those 4. So I will know which company it is, what the time, what the account, and what the amount. That's why we organize this table to be like that. Now, for every row in this table, I want to make a little dictionary, just like here. Got it?
Yes.
There's the beauty. And now, after I get every record, I push it into the data underscore. So that becomes to be a list of many, many dictionaries. Okay, and they look just like this one. And that's why it works. So let me activate it and then we'll go over the detail. Okay, so I'm replacing this example instead of this stupid example. I'm just replacing it with my own data and the data that I'm downloading from the internet, from my database, correct? And what I'm going to download in a minute, I'll go over it one more time. But the key point is, in this data, I have 4 columns. 4 columns and many, many rows. Each row, I make a dictionary and I push it into the list. So this list will have as many dictionary, as many rows I have in this data. Got it?
Yeah.
That's really. So let's see how it works. So let's refresh. Now that's really will be real stuff. And we go, just choose Amazon again. And going to here, click on it. And what happened now? This is the beauty. Okay? Look at that. When I click here, we really do have, here, let me go take everything out. Okay? We have 4: account, amount. We will change the names in a minute. Okay, we'll change the name. So it will look better. Okay, it doesn't really matter. I will change the names. But I can take the amount, put it here. I can take the time and put it in the columns. That will be the years for now. I can take the account ID. By the way, this I did one more step. And finally, Company, I'm going to put here, but I'm going to play with it today. And that's what I want to spend the session today. If I click apply, bingo, we're getting the data for Amazon. But we're getting it from the cube this time, from a different table. Is that right? That's
Yes.
the beauty of it. All right, let's see. By the way, I didn't really collected a lot of data, so I don't know if that's really what which company is that one? Account payable. Yeah, let's say account payable for 2012. 2012 account payable. See, account payable. How much is it? 13,318. It should be the same number. Yeah, exactly the same number. But it's coming from totally different. Remember the whole process. But this is really, we did it for analysis. Okay? By the way, you can play with it. You can, this one has a lot of, that's why I think you should read. You can do a flat table. And this is really pretty cool. It will show you how the data look like. This is the way we have it in the database. By the way, this is the way we have it in the database, by the way. Daniel. You got it? By the way,
Yes.
let me remove that and put it back in a second. So you'll understand what I mean. I kind of went one step ahead. Let me remove it and I'll put it back in a second. Okay, I'll put it back. Refresh. And let me do Amazon. Go to here, click on it. See how fast it works. It's amazing. Now, by the way, I can put the company in here. I will play with it in a second. The time, I put here. Account, I will put here. Amount, I will put here. And now I get that table. Okay? That's the way it looks like, just like this one. Correct? But the truth of the matter, this is what the pivot table did. If I want to tell him, don't do pivot, just take the total and just give me a flat form. Flat form, it means show me the way the data look like. And by the way, here we go. This is the account number. You see the account number? This
Yes.
is the time number. This is the company number. And this is the amount. That's pretty cool. By the way, the company, we have only one company. So all of those will be the same number, 279. This is exactly the way we keep the data in the fact table. Clean. It's in the fact table, but now the problem is that nobody knows what account is 11,100. Now, why didn't I, when I downloaded the data, why didn't I download the name? Because it takes more space. And I can be smarter. Why I can be smarter? Because I already have, when I download the data for Amazon, I already downloaded before all the chart of accounts. Okay? So what I did a function here in the home. If you remember, I was playing with it before. I made all those functions. You see that? One of which is account properties. And the beauty of it, now you understand, I already had in mind that I will need it in the future, even before I got to the pivot table. Now, when I go to the pivot table now, I don't want to get for the account ID, I don't want the number, I want the name. Got it? So what
Yes.
I did is basically wrap it up. I wrapped it up with this function. This function takes the account number, which is here, and I put it in parallel and then return 3 values. The first one is the name of the account. So I'm building up now the dictionaries on the client computer. I don't bother the server to do that. You got it? The downloading is much less data. I already have the data on this user computer. It will work much, much faster. And this one, what we'll do, see the simple building up this function was so powerful that when I refresh now, see what will happen. We're going to do it with other things as well. When I downloaded Amazon, by the way, the chart of account is down. I know all the account. You see, when we go here, see all these titles, they're already here. You see, we're already using them, cash and all of that. You see that?
Yes.
So I can use them again here. When I click now, I'm only downloading the raw data. And when it comes down, you see how it changed the titles? I don't get numbers anymore. And if we go here and let's do a flat, as we did before, he doesn't really know, he doesn't care. By the way, let's change it to be, I'm not getting the whole things. Let's change to get the whole things. Let's mark the whole things. So we'll have all of them, okay? So it's really giving me, now you're giving me exactly the title. You got it?
Yeah.
Which is really nice. And here, what the problem? I don't know which company it is. Am I right? So I have a problem, I don't have the company. So what do I do with the company? I would like to see the name of the company. Is that right?
Yes.
The amount is amount, and the time, I don't really want to see the zero and all of that. I'll play with it in a second. But one thing is, how do I deal with the company? But before I do that, I want to do something else. So far so good, Daniel, because I think we went over, I don't know if I went over this function with you. How do we download, how do we do this function? This function we did, it's a very smart function that I give it a name of a function, the function called get pivot table, pivot data. And I go through all the view and all of that. I don't need to waste my time because I made this special function. I tell him which object of analysis I want and which functions to activate. And if I have any attributes, I will add to that. And one of the attribute is the ticker. So at the end of the day, it will take me to the analysis object. You see that?
Yes.
That's the beauty of it. This function, what this function can do, activate objects, what this function does, activate objects function. What this one can do is it automatically will navigate. So eventually you will activate this function, which belongs to this object on Python. Okay, this is the object. This is the function I want him to activate. Which variables I want to transfer to it? I want to transfer to it a variable called ticker with a value, whatever value. And by the way, if you have a good eye, what I'm taking here, that's why I told you I don't want to get an error. What this one does, it takes this one, it's the field called search ticker, which is nothing but this one, whatever it's this one. So when I'm clicking on this button, is activating this function, which collecting the data, is collecting the objects to be this name. The function going to be this one. And I'm giving it a dictionary with one variable with this value. And the value is going to be Amazon ticker in this example. It takes all of those, the object, it takes the function, and takes the dic, but I have to, it's called strigifying it. You can't just take a JSON, a dictionary of JavaScript and send it to Ajax, you have to use that one. And I don't really care. I just figured it out and I don't really care. I can even forget about it. Is that right? I don't really care. What I really care is to know that if I want to activate some function of an objects in Python that I have there, I have only to write them here. And then after that, I can transfer dictionary with this sticker. This one does the work and I don't really care. What does it give me back? So let's go into here. This is the object and let's see the function. This is the function. Is that right? So far, so good?
Yes.
By the way, this is the dictionary, the dic here, what you see here. It is exactly this dictionary. And this dictionary has only one variable. Got it? And the truth of the matter, now that it's so beautifully organized, you have to use the eval here. Okay, I figured out the whole things. And the beauty here, I can forget the whole things. I know that this function is going to be activated. And I know that I have a dictionary called dic. And I can take the value from it. So this one should tell me Amazon. Is that right?
Yeah.
It looks very complex, but it really isn't. Because when you go into here, it takes this value, whatever it's in here, this button, when I click on it, it takes the value right from here. And it put it in a dictionary. And it put it in a dictionary. That's really what this line does. This is really what this line does. It takes the value from that place, put it in a dictionary with that name. The beautiful part is when I put it here as name dic, I don't really care. It will go all the way. We'll get to the object that I told him. It goes to this function. I take this dic, put it in eval, I pull the value right from here. That's all what I need to know. You know, you do it a few times, you forget what the hell, I don't really care. And you can make the same things. You can add more functions and utilizing the same mechanism. That's the beauty of it. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Now that I got the ticker, I want to do something very much smarter. By the way, in fact, this one, I really should really maybe put it here just to see the sequence of what's really happening. What am I doing here? I'm really putting data. In here, I'm putting data for Amazon. So all the data are in the fact table, remember?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. And in the fact table, by the way, you could, you know, if you know a language called XMLA, you will see you can organize the data in a different way. But since we're doing so many other things, it's you don't really need to do that. Okay. So I'm pulling the data from the fact table. So what is in the fact table I want to pull? I want to pull the data for a company with that ticker. That's why we're putting it this way. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we told him also in this table, let's look at the table. By the way, the table is very simple. It has only 4 columns. So in the company, I'm just telling him, give me that specific company. But in the time, I can tell him to give me everything, and that would be including quarterly data. Is that right? I can get quarterly data as well if I want. Or I can just get the annual data. So that's what we did last time. Time quarter. Okay, we have the time, which is the variable right in Where is the model? Where is the model? Yeah, here we go. The time, but the time is linked to this dimension. And in this dimension, we have quarter. And I told him, give me the quarter as 0. And I know that quarter 0 is the annual. So this one going to give me only the annual, but it's going to give me for company with that ticker, which is Amazon. Later on, I told him, give me those values, the IDs. You notice? I asked him, give me the values of company ID, time ID. By the way, this is the query set. I have all the data for this company for the annual. I could have changed this one instead of the time ID or company ID, I could have changed and get the name of the company, but I didn't want it. I wanted to save space. Now I want to do something smarter. I don't want to give only the data only for Amazon. If I chose Amazon, I want to get the data for all the companies in the same industry as Amazon. How should I do that? How should I do that? What do you say? This one is not going to work. Is that right? This one is not going to work. So how are we going to do that? Any idea? Let's go back to here. Is that right? And from here, we have the company, which has a link to the dimension of the company. But in this one, we do have the SIC code. Is that right?
Yes.
But so how should I do it? Well, the problem is I don't want to transfer the SIC code. I could transfer the SIC code and I'm done. And I have the SIC code. Okay? But I wanted you to learn another trick. So every communication will be with the ticker. So I can do the following trick. I can go back to here. I don't know really the SIC code. So if I use company SIC code, it's not going to work. But if I limit it with the, that will be a tricky. Okay. I want to get all the companies with the same SIC code of Amazon. So what I will need to do, okay, is first of all to get the SIC code. Many times I like to do it that way. So which table will give me that one? That one, this one can give it to me. So I can take this one that I mentioned. I go back to here. And this one I can do now, filter dot objects dot filter. And this time, by the way, it would be really smarter to do get, because you should get the get. You should really use the get to make sure you don't have any error, because you shouldn't really have more than one company, okay? And the ticker should be equal to the ticker that we use here. So now that I have the company, this is the company. So far, so good?
Yeah.
So I could have a company, but I don't really want to waste another even line. I will put here the name of the SIC code of that company. So they have SIC code. Where is that? C code. So I'll put the C code right from there. So I'm filtering by its ticker. I will get the SIC code of that company. So now by sending the ticker, I know what the SIC code that belongs to here. Now this one I'm going to change. This one, instead of writing a ticker, I'm going to use exactly this one. That's pretty, very, very powerful. This is why you need to know database very well. See what I did. I found the company with that ticker that I'm transferring. I checked which SIC code it belongs to. Then from the fact table, I don't want to pull up a data only for that company. I want it for all the companies with the same SIC code. So when I do company __ SIC code equal to this one, it will give me all the companies with the same SIC code. That's pretty cool. That's it. But now you will see one more things we will need. And you will see we'll play with it. We'll play with it. We'll play with the way it's returning. So let's go first of all to see what we're getting. I didn't really do any change in the other ones. We'll go over that in a minute, but I haven't made any other change beside that one. So I'm going to refresh again. I'm going to download Amazon and I'm going to go into here. I don't have the data, but this time I'm expecting, hopefully, I don't know if I have more data in the same industry as Amazon. If I do, I should get more than one company. That's why I want to test it with the data that Brenda is using. She has 5 companies. Okay, and then we will be able to compare data of those 5 companies. That's very powerful. So let's click first. Let's see that it works. I have an error. Pretty cool. What is that? Hey, why is that? What does it say? Ah, shoot. Why it doesn't like me? How do I put it? How do I want to get it? I think that should work this way too. Let me see that. I think that should work. Because it's a query set with one really. Let's see now. By the way, I don't really even have to refresh. Yeah, okay. So now let's see if we have more than one company. By the way, yeah, we do have more than one. No, let's see in a second. I click on here and I will take company ID. I'll put it in the filter, take the amount, I take the time, and let it apply. And how do I know if there is more than one company? I can click here, and there's only one. Amazon don't really have another one in my database. Got it? So let me check if I have anything that has more than one on my database. I forgot which one I did more than one. I think that Apple, I think I did for Apple. Let's try that. Let me see Apple. On my computer, on the server will be really easier. And you have to push it as well. I will see in a second if that one would be nice to me. And let's see if I have more than one company. Let me just put it here and see if I get more than one. Now I have only one company, you see that? What should we do? You know what I would do, Daniel? Just for fun, let's not put any filter on the company so we get all the data, okay? Then we know every company that we have in the database, but at least we know the pivot works, and then we'll play with that because I don't have the data. Got it?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. So I'm not using really the ticker at all. Let's try that. Okay, see here for the company again. Now, account, time, apply. Oh, we have several companies. You see that? We have 3 companies.
Yes.
But what do we see here, by the way? This is wrong data because it's a summation of the 3 companies together. And if you want a specific company, let's say I want just Apple. I know this is Apple. This is Apple data. And what do I get here? I didn't put the data right. Minutes. Let me double check that I didn't screw it up. I got, no, this one should go away. I know that something doesn't make sense. Now it will make sense. Okay, this is the data for Apple. How do I get the data for another company? Very simple. Take it out, put this one, you get a different company. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, what is our challenge? Okay, we'll put that one back so we don't forget. This one will get, so I will comment it out and then I will put it back. Because this is the way I want it to work on the server eventually. For now, we use several companies so we can move on to do other things. What do I mean by that? When we're getting this stuff, we see that we don't get the company name, we get the number. We don't want that. Is that right?
Yes.
So what I would like to do is, I would like to download the data. Yeah, this would be a problem. No, I will. Okay. I want to download the names, although I can get it from another place, but it would be smart to put it here. We have the SIC code, correct? We have the SIC code, and we can go into the models, and we have the SIC code, but we don't have the names of the companies of, we have the companies here. Is that right? So I would like to get all those companies that are here, meaning I would like now to do one more things. I want to get the companies with that SIC code, and therefore what I will do is I will call that companies equal to XBRL company infos. Okay? I want this one. And that means I will explain. Let me go there. Just to be consistent. Yeah, I want this one. We have a company name as well. And we have the ID number. That's 2 things that I will need. In a second. I will get back to that. Okay, in a second. Okay, dot objects dot filter. And how do I want to filter? I want to filter exactly as I did here. This time I can just do SIC code equal to SIC underscore. Okay, and dot all. Now I'm getting all the companies in the same industry. Got it? This is the list. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now I will do a little loop for C in companies. And what do I want to do now? I want to get C dot in here. So far, so good?
Yeah, I think I can see that you misspelled company on the first variable.
Which one? Here?
Yeah, should be CO.
Yes, it should be an O. Well, it should be there.
And that's fine now. It's fine.
Yeah, good. So in the companies, C, and we would like to make a dictionary. So we'll do a companies dic equal to that way. And now what we will do, we'll take companies dic. You will see in a minute why I'm doing it. C.id. See that why I'm doing it. I will have a dictionary now with company dic. You see that?
Yeah.
All the companies, which companies? Only the companies that I'm downloading. See, I'm downloading a lot of data because think about it, for every year, for every account, for every quarter, I don't want to repeat myself with the company name, which takes a hell of a lot of space. So if I have 10 companies, I don't want to repeat the names 10 times. So I can just put a list of 10 names. That's going to be a dictionary with only 10 names, ID and the name, is that right? And when I'm downloading it here, and here, I'm only using the ID. The ID doesn't take a lot of space. You got it? Now, why
Yes.
I'm doing it? After I do that one, I'm going to download it with the other data. I'm going to add it to whatever I'm sending back. Say I'm sending back this one, it's a dictionary. So the only things I need to do is really just do the following. This is really working smart. Got it?
Yes.
Now I will have this one coming down with the data. And remember, whatever I'm going to put, I will talk about this one. In here, I'm not going to use the names. I'm using the ID, company ID. I'm trying to minimize the amount of data to download and let the computer on the user to do the work. That makes it work extremely fast. And that's why one of the reasons why a lot of programs work so slow. Got it? Now that we have it, we know this one, by the way, this one will go over that later on. But for now, we got this company ID. You see that? Company's dic. So I'm going to use that one, and I'm going back to here and see the beauty. We already know this is the data. And this data is going to have one of each. Is that right? One of each. It's a dictionary with all the companies. Am I right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, Doc.
That's pretty cool. Now, what can you do? You know, if you're downloading the data, okay, and you have it there, you can call it CDAG or whatever you want. It doesn't really matter, okay? But I advise to be smart. What does it mean to be smart? And by the way, here it doesn't really make a difference. It won't make any difference. This one, it's a dictionary. If I put here the ID of the company ID, it will give me back what? The company name. That's the way we organized it here. Correct? I put the ID, I get the company name. So now I want to do smart. I say, okay, I take this one. See the way I do it. Intentionally, I took that one out. What is company ID? You see, when we're building those dictionaries, I don't want anymore to put there, I don't want to put the ID, the ID. I want to get back the company name. Got it? I'm done. That's beautiful. It should work. We'll see in a second. Okay? As such a small tricks, will put the company name on the client, which has enough memory, has enough power. You know, even a simple computer can do it. So let's see if it works. Let's run it. Refresh. Yep. I think you start liking it, don't you? We don't, let's use here, we'll just put an L, just not to get an error. We're going to here, we click here. Up, I got an error. Why? It doesn't like me. So let's go step by step. Let's look at nothing really worked the way you want it. Am I right, Daniel?
Yes, doctor.
Nothing works the way you want it, unfortunately. What can you do? So let's start with step by step. Control V, and we make sure that there's one here, indeed, an object. Is that right? And what number was that? 461. We had a company number 7, if I recall. So let's see if we have company 7 here. Let's put here 7. I'm curious if that will work. By the way, you know what? Why don't we do that? Just double check that everything's really worked the way it should be, because maybe we have an error even here. Print. Okay, let's double check that this one really is a good dictionary. Okay, go to here, click on it, undefined. Okay, we'll see in a second. Why is it undefined? Yeah, we're getting there. You see 409 Apple Inc.
Yeah.
Why do I get only one? I got XBL and I got the SIC code here. That's the detail. I got the SIC code. Yeah, we said there is only one company in that SIC code, remember?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so let's say, now I know why I'm getting an error. Shoot. Okay, just for now, okay, just for now, and we will put it back in a second. Okay, we don't really care about SIC code. We just get all the companies. Fair enough? No filter. Okay, so we'll get those 3 companies. That's what I have on my computer. Is that right?
Yes.
So far, so good?
So good.
Now we'll get company, but why do I get an error here? That's surprising me. Company dick, that's fine. I have company ID, all those ones. I should get this one as well. Let's see. Okay. The whole thing is really working nicely. Okay, let's see, first of all, that we're getting Yeah, we're getting all the companies. You see that?
Yes.
We're getting all the companies. That's good. Amazon, everything. So that's perfect. Okay. So this one is coming out correctly. So why I'm getting an error? I get the amount. Let me see what's happening here. Yeah, I probably have. Yes, that's my mistake. I need data. This is the way it is just because the structure. Okay, that should do it. Okay. By the way, let me take it one step already. I will do it this way and it will work. What is the company ID? Here we go. So I'll put it here. And I will just, איפה את הולכת?
אני פה, הגעתי הביתה.
תכף אני כבר עוצר. אוקיי, let's see if it works now. Let's refresh. Put an L. Okay, going to set up, bring. See, I got an object. It's going to on, that's perfect. And now when you go into here, what do you see? Let's take the time. We want to put the time here. We want to put the amount here. I want to put the account here. And I want the ID to be here. And apply. Bingo. But what do you see here? You see the names of the companies, don't you?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And we did it in a very smart way because it works very fast. We only downloaded those three, that's it. We didn't have to download, those ones, how many times it could have been if you do it this way. You can see there's so many lines there. If you do a flat, that's really what we're downloading. There's so many rows. You see that?
Yeah.
It's 922. Why to download 922 instead of just 3? Now this is small. We can have 500 companies and we want to get people to play with it. You got it? Now you see the power, really why Pivot Table is such an amazing tool and how we did it web, which is amazing, which is beautiful. So let's do classic. I don't know what the difference really. Okay. Now see the beautiful of it. Okay. Instead of putting it in the filter, I can play with it as much as I want. I can, no, not this one. Let's go into the field. So now I can say that I want to put the company in here. Okay. Okay, I want to do company ID and time ID, or maybe the time I will put here. I will change it. So our companies and the time will be here. By the way, we'll change the title so it will look better. Let's go back. Oh, you see, I got 3 companies. You see those? It's pretty cool. Which year? Hey, that's all the years. That's why it says all. So it's like if you sum all the years for account payables for Aon, that's what you get. But if you want specific year, you can go here 2020. Let's take 2020. So remove all of them and go only 2020. Bingo. Now you're comparing for 2020. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? That's we couldn't do before. Is that right?
Yes.
By the way, we can download always all the data. I will test it. We'll see if we can download all the data. Now, the beauty here is how you all, and you see, we're getting the company names already. And this, the only things really we need to change this one, account ID, this is stupid. But how do we fix it? Because this one is really comes from here. So this one, instead of saying company ID, I'll just change it to say company. And that's it. Instead of ID, I'll change that to say type. Or year, quarter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'll write time for now. This one, the account. I can change it to account. And that would be nice to have a capital A. That's the holy things. See how beautiful it is. And I stole the idea from someone else. That's the power. But we think about it as a system. We don't really care about specific. You know, people making all their career by making this component. By the way, you saw companies selling this component. Remember?
Yeah.
And we found someone did it. But what is our value? The value we can do that nobody else really can allow you so simple to compare 3 companies with account payable. Which one has the highest account payable? Amazon, more than Apple in 2020. That's amazing. How about you can go to revenue? You know, we'll play with it. We'll see, we'll change net income. Who has the highest net income out of those 3 companies? Aeon is nothing. It's 79. But this one, 54. Apple has much more than Amazon as far as net income. Apple is making more money than Amazon. That's pretty interesting, no?
Yeah.
But this one, we couldn't do here. This one is only for this company. We couldn't compare companies. This one we did is the right way. This is the right way to do it. Okay? So now let's go and just refresh again one more time and then clean up and do it by sector for now. And now that we have it working, we will be able to think how to do it. So let me do L, go back, refresh. I will remove those stuff. Okay? And now see the beautiful, it says company, it says everything will be just the right way. Options, I usually don't like, I don't know how to put it as default. There is probably a way. I will leave it to you to study it, okay? By the way, you can make it look like Excel. See that?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Then you can go into here and just organize. Usually the title you'll put in here, the amount you put here, but you see the titles have changed. They look nicer, like
Yeah.
really the way it should be. That's really the easy part. Apply, bingo, we got a nice one. This is really nice. Okay, now moreover, you know, this is really adding all of them. I want only the data for Amazon. Bingo, this is Amazon. And see, it looks just like Excel. Now, see the beautiful part. Do save now. And I will do save. It gives me, I do really want to open it up so you can see. What does it say? Here, this is pretty cool, isn't it? It's really saving it as a file as JSON. That's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
like it. This is the smart way to do things. I like this component. I really do. I really like this component. By the way, after you save it, you can just take it out from the memory. Okay, you can from your computer. So in other ways, we can download the whole and see the beauty. It says Amazon company. You see that? It's really beautiful. It really is. Apple. I get the data for Apple. This is beautiful. I bet you when one day some banks in Uganda will know that we have that, they will pay us so much money, you will not believe it. Honestly, what we will make from one person, you will not make all the rest of your life working in a regular job. Because this is not everybody can do it. You see the complexity. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
But this is beautiful. You're getting to a nice level now. And you see the beauty, we're getting all the accounts. By the way, you can say, well, I am not interested in all those accounts. How do I limit it? I can limit, this must be a place here. Yeah, I don't want to see all of them. I just want to see I want to compare goodwill between the companies. That's it. Bingo, now I see only goodwill. That's pretty cool. Is that right? Moreover, there's so much you can do, and now you really need to learn. You can push the company into here. Let me take this one here. And I do it this way. So now there's no filter. So, and now I don't want to filter the companies. I want all of them. Apply. See, I get now comparison of account. They are all the same account, goodwill. You see that?
Yes.
And I can compare between them of the goodwill alone, the comparison of goodwill between those three companies. In 2020, Aeon purchased, this one has 15, this one, Apple has nothing. This is beautiful. This is very powerful for analysis. This is a tool for analysis. This is the second. We should make really a course in business intelligence. But what we have now, which we didn't have before, it's this tool. And usually people read about Power BI, you will notice that now what we have in Academy City, it's 10 times better than the tool that Microsoft is selling as Power BI. We need to add charts. I want you to read about this component and see how you make pivot chart. So you can make a nice chart of it, okay? That's I will leave it to you. Okay? Now let's just make sure we bring the code to be different, because this one because I had it only on my computer. How do I do that? Okay, that's what I wanted. But how do I kind of got lost. Do you see that? I got lost, kind of. Okay. Let's fix the code. We don't need this one. All right. Secondly, in here, we don't need this one. We can download all the companies all the time, but what's the point? If we want to use really only a specific SIC code, so instead of this one, let me take this one, open that one. Then we get all the companies, and we get only the companies with the same SIC code. And secondly, we'll open this one and throw this one away. So we'll get all the companies in the same SIC code. We will be able to test it later on when we have more companies. Okay? This one is just removing, it will work, but it will show us only one company because we have only one company in each industry. We can try to download some data for other company. We can play with it for a second. Let's see, everything's cool. Refresh. Let's go to the L and going to here. and go. Yeah, we're getting only for Apple. That's what we have really. And if we go to the options, I usually like to take that one away. And I take here and leave company in. That's, let me try that one. Time and take the amount to here and the account to fly. Yeah, here we go. So you see we have a company Apple, because this is the only one that we have. Okay. So when you click here, you open the whole thing. This is really beautiful. You got it? If you had another one, you can have the second one, third one. And if you want to look at a specific one, you click here. If you have another one, you click here, which is really nice. By the way, this one can give you also sort. I don't know what this one does. What does this one do? I have no idea. Does it sorting it? I think it does it sort the numbers? Yeah, it does. I don't want to sort it by that one. And so how do you, I don't want to sort it by this one. I want to sort it by this one. But you can make it sort by. Hold a second. Should be here in the fields. Sort by, should be some sorting. I don't know. You look it up, okay? Because I would like to sort by the account name. You got it? By the account. And it's very important to have, this is a total mess up by now. You got it?
Yes.
We need to find out how can you do so the sorting will be by, I don't know, options. There must be a way to be able to sort it out and specify how to sort it. You see, it really does give you a link here. Let me try that one a second. Take the company out from here. And apply, let's see what happened. You see, it's not gross part. Yeah, this one is organized now. Now total assets. Let me refresh. I do want to have a control on the sorting. Let's see how does it sort it. It's sorting it alphabetically. You see that? It's a problem.
Yeah.
It is a problem. We don't want it this way. Why don't you study that component and see how you can do sorting, okay?
Okay, doctor.
I'll take a look at it. For me, the most important things is done. You got it? We will
Yeah.
visit it so many times, but the mechanism to communicate between JavaScript to the Python to the database is all done. I think that's the important things. By the way, we can see if there's another company, maybe they are in the same industry that we already have in here. We don't have anyone with Apple. Which other company we had? Aeon, didn't we?
Yeah.
Aeon. Yeah, but Aeon doesn't have everything. Let's see, Aeon. No, I don't know the industry of Aeon. Let's see if I have it here. Here we go. No, Aeon is not here at all. So I don't even going to play with it. Yeah, I think I did a human, hold a second. human resources. Yeah, there's one. Let's see which one I have. I think I did some. I was playing with it because it was important. I was playing with it. Maybe I can do that one. Let's do two companies. I think I did this one, some of the data. Let's see if I did or not. Let's download a little bit of the data. What do you say? So that's what go very fast. I don't really need to download a lot of data. Just make a few of them. Cash, investment security, and what else? Receivables. Let's say total other current assets. That's enough for us. Okay. And that's one. In order to download the data, you must refresh. Which company was that? Okay, refresh. That's the process. This is a good one. It's really a good summary. In order to download it, you have to click there. I will click M, it will download the data. It takes a little time. I usually can make sure by looking at the debug table, you see it's downloading the data. I can tell it's downloading. You see 2018 is almost done. 20 is done. So now I can go back. Now that's, which one was it? Yeah, here we go. We have some data. Not all of that, but we have enough. Okay? In order to, this is sitting on the data, but I don't have it in the pivot. I cannot have it in the pivot. So I have to click on fact. And the fact, let me just, of course, we're going to change the whole things. For now, we're just step by step making sure that the whole thing is working. And if I click on fact, it's pushing it to the table, the fact table. It should, unless I get an error, which I did. Why? God knows why. Why is that? This one had an error. Why? Okay, I'm probably missing data or whatever. It didn't return it. It means that we're getting an error. Which function is it working with? That function called update fact table. So we're getting an error there. Update fact table. Update fact table should be here. And here we go. Let's see what the error here. And by the way, it should put those stuff on there. Interesting. Yeah, we don't have the quarterly. I didn't download the quarterly. Let me try to download the quarterly. I curious to see. Let's take that one out. First, I think that's the reason. And let's take here to the quarterly. And I just put an M. In fact, I think I got it getting an error again. Yeah. Yeah, it would be interesting to see why did it get stuck. You can go to the debug. Yeah, yes. I have a feeling this one might be an error. No, I don't think so. Let's see. Let's follow it up so we'll find out why do we get an error on the fact. See, I'm getting here the HUM. I'm getting right in here, and we can, you know, the debug is a very powerful. I would recommend always to put here to upper. Maybe that's the reason. I don't think so, but maybe. No, I did put an upper here. You see that? So I can remove those ones. Control Z. That's what I do need. Ticker, dot. Yeah. Why do I do it that way here? Yeah, okay, checking it, but that's the same. I can just take it from there. That's okay. It's not the reason. So let's see what other places might be the error. I can put this one, Control V, and just right here. So this way we can debug it on the server. And yearly data. We can do start. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we can do the same things right here. Start quarterly data. Quarterly data. And then we do end. And at least we can start spotting where the error is. And where does it get stuck? You got it? Let's see that now. Do it again. Go back to here. The fact of the matter, I don't really need to refresh the screen here. I just click on fact and let's see what happens here. It gets stuck. It doesn't even get there. It doesn't get there. It doesn't get even to here. So the error is right here. Interesting. So let's do. By the way, I'm curious to know, I'll open even the print. Why is not? Let's see. And here I will do. And I will do God company. And let's put the ticker. Then we know we got to this point, is that right? And then we do the same things. So we know we got this one. But this one, I already got to the start if I got to this point. So I don't really have to have this one. But I'm curious where the error is really. Let's go back to here. Fact. And let's see here first of all. Here we go. Mana, this one works. And what it doesn't like. See, this one we're getting. This is the Humana company. We got it. This is the error. Now, what's the error here? Yours. It doesn't give me any indications. By the way, that will be interesting. Let me put this one. Why do I put that one? Hold a second. company name info control B. I have a ticker. Yeah, I do. So what's the problem? But why do I put this one here? Why don't I just put the ticker? Why do I care? It's the same ticker. That shouldn't be an error. Now we can do the following, Daniel. Try, which is a good idea to do anyway. And that's a very important. Except, exception as EX. And now you can transfer the error to the debug. Eventually you can remove them. When everything works perfect, we will remove them. And you can write error, then you know which error is it. Error 9876. So that will be easy to spot where the error is. And plus ticker plus string EX. So we'll give you what the error is if the company, why it doesn't really find the company underscore. That's strange. Let me see. Because this one should have it unless I didn't move it to there. Hold a second, I have a feeling that company is not there. Humana. Let's see if Humana is. I don't need that one for now. Let me see companies info. Okay, here it is. Here is it's active. No, it's not active, and that's why it's not there, because I'm transferring only the active one. Gosh, give me a break. Okay, it's only transferring the active one. That's why I get an error. Let's see. I think that's the reason. Let's see again. I shouldn't get error. Okay, let's see. Go to here. Let's see. Why do I get an error now? Has nothing to do with that. What does it say? Error analysis setup, but why it doesn't, I didn't. Yeah, let's see in the debug. I transfer that to the debug. Let's see here. What's the error is? Here we go. Humana XBRL dim couple matching query does not exist. Matching. Maybe I know why. Stupid me. I need to start with this one. Transfer that company. Now it will work. You better do. It's not. Driving me nuts. Nothing is easy. Hold a second, it's transferring, you transfer those ones. Which one it doesn't transfer? Humana, it gets the Humana. It doesn't transfer the data for Humana. Why is that? And the error is Okay, let's do it again. Not this one. Let's do this one. I don't think that makes the difference. That doesn't make a difference. Why? I have the quarterly here. I don't want the quarterly. Okay, let me do it again. Let's see what happens. Let's go back to here. Let's click companies. It's done. Let's go to the fact. And now, why am I getting error? Why do I get that one? I shouldn't get that one. It's not updating here. You see that? Hold a second. I do have this one. You wanna get start yearly data. Start yearly data. You see that? Start update fact table 2013 and update fact tables Humana. That's okay. Start quarterly data. That's where the error is. See that?
Yeah.
Because I think we didn't download the data for that. So now it makes sense. Let's do the following. Have to be crazy to do those kind of things. And eventually it's a piece of art. It's like building. Okay, let's see now. And it will update the quarterly. It's updating quarterly. And after I will finish this one. See, it's downloading the quarterly data. Takes a long time. It has like 4 quarters every year. So it will take a little time, but then we will be able to test it at least. Over time, all of those stuff being solved easily. You see, it takes them a little time. I will speed it up, by the way, Daniel. There's another topic that we will deal with, that we will speed up, that this will work much, much faster in downloading and updating the data. That's something called concurrency. It's a very hard topic, by the way, but it's, here we go, beautiful. So now we have the quarterly as well. Let's say if God loves us and we are here, Humana. Let's see, we go here and let's do fact again. It works now. Got it? And now if we go to here, we should be able to get the data for Humana. You see that? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And if we want to make sure, so this is really working. Everything's working beautifully. It really is. That's what the error. We don't have any error now. Good. So I want to remove all that stuff. Yeah, I don't want that print out. Just help me out to find those stuff. Print, we don't need this print. Good. And start yearly data. We don't need any that double. You see any print? Print, we don't need this print. So what else? Remove everything here. Good. What was the other function we activated? Update fact table. And what was the other one? What did we click also? The companies, didn't we? Yeah, the companies, I think. Update companies, didn't we? Update companies, I think this one. Yeah, we don't need this one to be there. We don't need this one. We don't need this one. Good. Okay, that's good. That's about it for now. I will update the server. And I think you should really study this component, Daniel. Play with it. I will push it to the, I'll push it to the server. Let me just change directory to development. And I will do a push for you. Did you solve that problem with the Cairo stuff?
Yes, doctor, I solved it.
What was the problem?
It
Okay,
wanted,
What?
I had to install a certain file.
Ah, very good. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good. It's the Windows is different than the Ubuntu. So that's why I
Yeah.
couldn't help you there. Anyway, this is I just did the push, so you can have it on your computer and start playing with it. Okay.
Okay. But
This is
doctor,
very good.
I'm having it.
I will do the same. I will put it on the server, but not now. I don't know. I have a problem with the other computer here. Anyway, change directory to. And I didn't really. I need to copy it. Okay, let me see. File open. This one. And I just need to delete this one. This is really beautiful, by the way, to be able to do it this way. Otherwise, it's a nightmare. So you take the whole program, everything, so you don't need to worry about it. And let's go to, I need to do that again. Push. Okay. I pushed both of them. I will update it later on. I'll take a break now and do other things. And in the evening, I will work on the options. That will be too hard for you. If you want, you're more than welcome. I know if you're not busy too. But on the options, the beauty about the options is you're getting data live from the server, and there's two mechanisms that I will teach you is how to, I'm going to touch, by the way, that topic of concurrency, which we will use later on in the corporate valuation. But for the trading, there is something called concurrency async IO. It's a library called async IO in Python. It's really the friend of Ajax or promises in JavaScript. That's a very hard topic. Okay, that's one you leave to certificate 4, Don't get into that in certificate, even not certificate 3. You're building up, by the way, pivot table, you can present it in certificate 3, but then you can tell people that we teach the whole thing in a separate course in business intelligence. You got it?
Yes.
So that's what we need to spend more time on marketing, in my opinion, as we as we progress now. That's really what we should do. Okay, have a good one, and we talk. I don't know how I closed the session. It's disappeared on me. Okay, here we go. Mildred, you doing good? Jeremiah, Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm fine, doctor.
Yeah,
I'm
Good.
okay, doctor.
this is beautiful stuff. Honest to God, you can start moving and start talking to banks, investment banks in Uganda. You can talk to insurance companies. They would love to have that stuff.
Yes,
We,
doctor.
by the way, we have already more than 20. Mildred, you already have there more than 20 or 25 companies. And when these things will get, I just discovered an error. I fixed it. I will upload it to the server. When we finish those 5 companies,
Lila.
what happened? And we will add more companies very fast as we go along. Okay, so that will be really nice. You will see, and that data, it's valueless for those companies. Just the data. I'm not talking about the tools to compare companies, to analyze, because banks, one of the things that banks do, they invest the money in a lot of other things. Okay, that's the way they make money. And how do they know how to invest if they don't have those tools? And most likely they don't have them in Uganda. Even in Israel, a lot of them don't have it. So that's why we're building it up. Okay, have a good one, guys. Okay, maybe next week. I think next week maybe I will get you involved in the options more. But let's get that one of the way. Study those components, this component. Okay, be expert
sir.
on it. You have the code. You can add some more companies on your computer, Daniel, and try
Yeah.
to get few companies the same industry. Play with it, and eventually you will have to train other people. Okay, as we go along. Okay, have a
Doctor.
good one, guys.
Doctor,
Yeah.
I'm still having a challenge on setting up that corporate valuation on IPs. Maybe we'll do it next time.
How about tomorrow?
Yeah, it's fine.
Tomorrow, but we'll do it early a little bit, something like around 11 o'clock your time.
It's fine.
Okay, just remind me if I forget, just call me. I
Okay.
always work or I'm always busy in something. So if I forget, just let me know. And yeah, I would like it to work on yours. By that time, Mildred, I want to show you that there's some problem that I fixed it. And also I add special account for that industry. You are dealing with healthcare. So I add some special account for healthcare. It works beautiful. So I want to upload it to the server. So after I will upload it to the server, so maybe by tomorrow we can talk about it. And then Daniel, we will have 5 companies on Academy City, same industry. And that would be really nice to start. And then we move to another industry and another industry. And you, Mildred, I think that you should get Darlene to start being involved. She won't understand everything in the beginning, but get her a little bit, tell her what you do, and then step by step, maybe having a little small course like we did, like 4 or 5 sessions of accounting. And I think Darlene and Laura would love to take that course. Okay? It's not that we're trying to make money. We won't make any money off that. We don't even charge them. But I think that would be a good to have more expanding the people involved in what we do. And as time goes by, Jimmy, you're the one that's supposed to sell that course after we have enough people can even teach it and also help. Okay?
Okay, doctor. Yes, doctor.
By the way, Daniel, how was the meeting, the session yesterday?
The session went well, doctor. And I left them with some work to do as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. I will try to join you on Monday, okay? See
Okay.
how the progress. You feel they are understanding, you feel they are really on top of it?
Yes, doctor.
Excellent. Don't forget, this course is also supposed to be a review for them on certificate 1. So if you're
Yeah.
repeating yourself, that's okay. Although they passed the certificate 1, but you know, they don't really master it as much as after they finish certificate 2. And also, I always say it in every time, try to get more students for certificate 1. I really love to see about 15 students. So in January, when we start the course, we'll have about 15 students. That will be really a big jump. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Have a good one, guys.
Okay, doctor.